The biggest club football tournament is back. Last week, we saw Bayern Munich lose to Lazio by 1-0. Then, Real Madrid went ahead to beat... what side did they beat? Real Madrid beat RB Leipzig by 1-0. Man City beat Copenhagen by 3-1. And which other side played? PSG beat Real Sociedad by 2-0 away in Paris. The reason as to why I'm giving you these results is that I want you to pay a lot of attention. If I told you an Arsenal fan that these are the teams you're gonna face, that is it. These are the teams you're gonna face. These are the teams you're gonna face as the side of Arsenal in the round of 8, provided you knock out the side of FC Porto. And where does it start from? It starts at the Estadio do Dragão down in Portugal that capacitates 50,033 people in that stadium that is in Porto, in Portugal. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic stay. We've gone ahead to arrive with a match preview of FC Porto versus Arsenal. First leg being played away in Portugal, and Arsenal are really charged up for this moment. Arsenal's gonna have to come into this game of football when they are 21 goal scorers ever since this year or calendar year started. And in their previous 2 games, Arsenal have gone ahead to put 11 goals past 2 teams. That is West Ham and Burnley. So it is really very threatening to the side of FC Porto to hear that news. But Champions League is always Champions League. Over the weekend, FC Porto went ahead to win by 2-0. And they're really looking forward to obviously hosting Arsenal in the Champions League. Remember, this is the side where Fabio Vieira was signed by Arsenal in the summer of 2022, and he is expected to travel with the side of Arsenal. By the way, for Arsenal, those players that are expected obviously to show up for this encounter tomorrow in the training sessions that's going to be held at the Sobha Training Center before they obviously travel to Portugal. We expect Zinchenko to be back, Tomiyasu, Fabio Vieira, Thomas Partey. Gabriel Jesus, not all that sure, but I think all those players might really get back. That is what we call a quadruple injury boost for Arsenal, and we wait to see whether these players are going to be training with Arsenal, because even before the team travels, we'll be knowing that such and such a player is really fit. So with all those players returning, it is really a very hammer blow to the side of FC Porto. Because for FC Porto, they are not having Zaid Sanusi. They are not having him because he really had a cruciate ligament rupture in there for you. And remember, he played very many games at the African Cup of Nations. If at all remember the left wing back of Nigeria, that's what you're talking about. Then there is another defender, Ivan Mokano. You know, he also has a slim chance of coming in through. And George Sanchez, you know, might come in through to join them. But even Pepe, the experienced Portuguese, you know Pepe very well, who played for Real Madrid and Portugal, he's also doubtful for this. So we wait and see how that really happens to happen. But there are other players like Stevan Esestutiao, Alan Varela, who are really just fighting to obviously see to it that they really pass what we call the late fitness test. But Arsenal has to look a lot at Evanilson who's leading the line, and Mohamed Taremi, who has been at the Asian Cup, and he has gone ahead to return to play for FC Porto. So I've gone ahead to let you know what the injury or team news is for FC Porto. But Arsenal, you know, Emily Smith-Rowe is back on the bench over the weekend, meaning that they still have a lot to see from him. Gabriel Jesus is having any injury. I told you he might obviously show up in training. Zinchenko is another one that we expect to return. Takehiro Tomiyasu has a knock that might see him into getting back. I think the players that you least expect to see is Julian Timber. But I think all those players might obviously show up in a very shocking manner altogether as far as this beautiful game of football is really concerned. So this is a fixture all the time that Arsenal should kill off. When you look at the quality that Arsenal is really having, they just have to kill off this fixture away in Portugal. And at Emirates, it should be just a way to really come to obviously finalize the occasion. But everything should be done and dusted in FC Porto, because Barcelona is weaker than Arsenal this season. But Barcelona went ahead to beat this team home and away, meaning that this guy has all what it takes. I think I'm talking about Mikel Arteta to beat the side of FC Porto. And I know FC Porto are really having a depleted squad. They're not as strong as they've always gone ahead to be. And there is a stat I've gone ahead to read that I'm going to bring you later after I show you the predicted starting 11, that out of the 8 times they've gone ahead to qualify for the round of 16, 7 of those they've been knocked out, meaning that they are not favorites to obviously proceed to go to the round of 8, and that keeps Arsenal up in the sky with the squad they're really having. Why does Arsenal need to win this game of football? They need to get more money to sit here. They obviously spend huge as they want to spend in this summer. Now, let's go to the predicted starting 11. The system of Arsenal doesn't change. It's a 4-3-3 that Mikel Arteta always really flaunts, and his army really has gone ahead to get used to it. But ever since this year started, they're really doing lots and lots of things that have gone ahead to obviously capture our mind. We all know that the first choice goalkeeper of Arsenal, don't you know him? You obviously know him. It's David Raya, and he's gonna start into this game or in between the stitches for Arsenal as they travel away to Portugal. First Champions League experience, and he has gone ahead to be in goal for all the 6 games in there for you. I think he managed to keep 2 clean sheets only. That was against PSV at Emirates. It ended 4-0 and 6-0 against RC Lens. Those are the only 2 clean sheets going to keep. Away at RC Lens, he conceded 2. Away at Sevilla, he conceded 1. And the one that they conceded against PSV in Holland, it wasn't him in goal. It was Aaron Ramsdale in between the stitches for the side of Arsenal. So we anticipate him to have a very good command, and he is going to really do the needful. And we are having a right back as Benjamin White, and Benjamin White has to obviously do the needful because he's really defending very well. But, you know, these Portuguese players and teams from Portugal really have what we call very well skilled, settled players, and he needs to obviously rise up to the occasion to really prove a point right. When we go to the left back, it's none other than Jakub Kiwior. Kiwior Jakub is a very good guy. So you saw him when Arsenal was beating Burnley by 5-0. He almost had a hand in 2. The assist for Kai Havertz, that was a throw-in, and I think that of the goal for Leandro Trossard, you know, the way he busts into space, and it was released, I think, by Odegaard. Then he does a square that sees Kai Havertz owning the assist for Trossard's goal, was also really good. And I think he really has the experience to obviously coming through and do the needful. But I all know that if Tomiyasu is back or Zinchenko, it's going to be very hard for this guy to start. But I think I would start him. Because Arsenal are the favorites to win this game of football. Central defense, not changed. Saliba on the right side of the central defense, and Gabriel Magalhaes on the left side of the central defense. That is it. That central defense is really good, and if Arsenal proceeds to go to the quarterfinal, it's gonna really be in the books of the best defenders or best central defensive partnerships in the Champions League season of 2023-2024. But I know they are going to do a lot. They're going to hit to defend. They're going to be facing Evanilson and Terame. Those 2 center forwards are really deadly, and they need to obviously show up the best they can obviously do. So let's go to the midfield 3. I think this is where a change comes in through. You know, I think for the previous 2 games, Arsenal is going to hit to name what we call a starting 11 that was unchanged, you know. But this time around, I believe a change is going to be made. Some experience will be needed, and I will be shocked if at all this man doesn't start in the single pivot. That is none other than Jorginho. If I'm Arteta, I get Jorginho into that single pivot, you know, because these games of the Champions League are really huge, and you need to obviously have him play that big role. So I see Jorginho starting in the single pivot. You remember when he played for Arsenal against Liverpool, the way he obviously dictated play and obviously controlled that midfield, interceptions, checkmates, and so on and so forth, were really up to the standards. And I think in a game like this, you need to field every player who has a Champions League experience in it, especially when you're playing away from home. When you're playing at home, it's obviously usual business. You can obviously field in anyone you want, but at this juncture, I think Jorginho has to play into the CDM area alongside the man who is on fire, that is Martin Odegaard. I would play Martin Odegaard alongside him and then Declan Rice. Odegaard is on fire because in the previous 2 games he has 4 goal involvements. He has 3 assists and 1 goal. That is Odegaard for you. And in games like this, when you're playing against FC Porto, a team that really gives you space to operate, you really insinuate that Odegaard is going to really have a very good goal into this beautiful game. So Declan Rice, I would obviously play him alongside Jorginho, such that Jorginho shields the back 4 and Declan Rice does the box-to-box role, because you need a lot of energy. I don't think that Arteta should obviously get in Trossard and start in that midfield. You should spare Trossard for the weekend game to come in through and really annihilate Newcastle. But in a game like this, you need a little bit of experience of Jorginho and Odegaard and Declan Rice to play alongside him, because you all know that Rice can also get you goals, and it's all about a game of goals. You wouldn't like to come out of Portugal when you've gone ahead to lose a game, all have a draw, you know. You remember what happened when Arsenal was playing Sporting Lisbon last year in the UEFA Europa League. They found themselves, I'm talking about Arsenal, drawing with Sporting Lisbon 2-2. After drawing 2-2, Sporting Lisbon came in through and really forced a draw at the Emirates, and they're knocked out in penalties. So Arsenal would want to obviously get a win that side and maybe come at home and really play for a draw or a win. But I know Arsenal is going to really put up a show. Now the forwards, I think Saka, a man on fire, right forward. Remember in the Champions League he has like, this guy has, Saka has 3 goals, not so? In the Champions League, he has 3 goals, if at all I'm not mistaken. Let me confirm. He has 3 goals and 4 assists, you know, and in the previous games has been playing for Arsenal, he has gone ahead to score 7 in 6 games, meaning that it puts him at a higher stage of obviously really getting, or a high chance of really getting in the goals that he wants in there for you. That is Bukayo Saka. Now, after Saka, Martinelli, I know, is going to start on the left forward of Arsenal, and then it's not Nketiah, it's not Jesus, it's Kai Havertz leading the line for the side of Arsenal. So I anticipate that it's going to be Arsenal lining up like that to take on the side of FC Porto. And the moment I see Jorginho in there for you, I'll be knowing that this game of football is really won, because that guy, at moments like this, he raises up to the occasion. That's why teams like Juventus, Barcelona are interested in really signing him, because they know the quality that he brings onto the field of play. So that is my predicted starting 11 of Arsenal. I don't know who do you get out and who do you add on. And before I bring you the match prediction for me, allow me obviously start it off with the head-to-head stats coming in through from Google. 1. FC Porto have been eliminated from 7 of their last 8 UEFA Champions League knockout ties against English opposition, with the expectation being a round of victory. Round 16 victory over Man United en route to winning the trophy in 2003-2004. So the only time they've gone ahead, obviously, surpassed the round of 16. I remember that game, Ryan Giggs went ahead to score, and we are leading by 1 goal to lead because I support Man United. Then Benjamin McCarthy leveled the game, and it ended 1-1, and FC Porto continued to go to the round of 8. And when they crossed the round of 8, they went ahead to really beat Monaco in the final of the Champions League, and Mourinho was their manager way back. So, secondly, Arsenal have won all 3 of their home UEFA Champions League games against FC Porto by an aggregate of 11-0, but are winless in all 3 away games. So, Arsenal have gone ahead to draw 1 and lose 2 with FC Porto. So, Porto has been really beating Arsenal. 3. The last time Arsenal got past in the round of 16 in the UEFA Champions League, they did so by beating FC Porto 6-2 on aggregate in 2009-2010 campaign. Nicolas Bentner scored a hat-trick at the Emirates for the Gunners in that tie. So, Arsenal, the last time they played against FC Porto, or FC Porto played against Arsenal, it was a moment of joy for Arsenal. The aggregate was 6-2, and I see the same aggregate coming in through because Arsenal has gone ahead to sharpen all the attacking methods, and they are really looking a threat. Fourthly, each of the last 5 teams to eliminate FC Porto from UEFA Champions League in the knockout rounds of the competition has gone on to reach the final that year. Juventus in 2016-2017, last 16. Liverpool in 2017-2018, last 16, and 2018-2019. Then Chelsea in 2020-2021 in the quarterfinal, and Inter Milan last season had to beat them in the round of last 16. So for every team that has gone ahead to obviously knock out FC Porto in the round of 16 or quarterfinal in 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2022-2023, these teams have gone ahead to obviously go and play the final. So Arsenal, if they knock out FC Porto, they have to look out to this, that they might find themselves playing in the finals of the UEFA Champions League. And by the way, I would like to see a final of us between Arsenal and Man City. That's what the final I would want to watch. Lastly, since the round of 16 was introduced in the UEFA Champions League in 2003, 2004, Arsenal have gone out at this stage more than any other side, 9 times, including in each of their last 7 appearances in the competition between 2010-2011 and 2016-2017, with the 8 last 16 eliminations. FC Porto are joint second in this regard. So it has not been good news for Arsenal ever since the last 16 level was introduced. They've gone ahead to be knocked out several times, but I think it's a different Arsenal altogether. This Arsenal is really fired up. They're really having huge experience, and that's why I'm going to let you know that it's going to be hard to stop them. So my prediction, 2-1 win by Arsenal away in Porto. That's what I see, but it can go really rampant. Arsenal can go ahead and obviously cause a lot of problems to FC Porto. Will depend on how FC Porto are going to answer the questions that Arsenal are going to ask their defense, because you can't tell me that FC Porto is going to really have a lion's share of this ball. You know, they are gonna really do the needful and really try to press Arsenal and hit them on the break. If they try to go head-to-head with Arsenal, all heads on, then we'll come here doing a match reaction of what we call an annihilation into that fixture. So I'm going for a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal, but I know it can go worse to 3, you know. And all what Arteta has to do is to get this right. Champions League experienced players like Jorginho should be in the field of play, Kai Havertz, Jesus, and Zinchenko if possible. So your reactions to that are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and the Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. Good night, those going to bed. That has been all what I had to bring for you. FC Porto versus Arsenal. I'm sure doing a live stream later on. Bye bye.